It is absolute chaos in Yosemite Park. Unbelievable. And it's got nothing to do with Yogi Bear. Oh my. Beast mode, JFK is handling snakes on Dr. Oz's patio. That's a weird one. And does the spirit of Bruce Lee have something to offer a non-martial artist? I think so, and we're going to talk about it. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. It's a Wednesday, hump day, halfway through the week. Jenny, good morning. Great to have you along for the hustle here. We got a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about all of it coming up, and we're going to get right into it. As a matter of fact, Yosemite Park is a mess, a complete mess, and it's kind of our own doing. This is the first summer since Yosemite stopped using their reservation system. And there have been almost 100,000 more visitors than this time last year. It used to be that you had to actually make a reservation, reserve your space to go into and visit the park. They got rid of that. It is so crowded. The lines of cars hours long than this time last year. People are parking illegally in all the meadows that are supposed to be protected. The line of cars goes on and on, all waiting to get into Yosemite National Park. People are waiting for at least an hour and a half, and once you're inside, the waiting isn't over. By 7:30 in the morning, you can already, the parking can very easily already is at capacity. By 7:30 in the morning, the entire park, impossible to park. There's nowhere. Every space, every conceivable place to put a car or a truck is taken. Nowhere. People are waiting to find parking. They're waiting to get on the shuttle. With a lot of people getting impatient, and they just basically shut the car off wherever it is and leave it there, illegally parking. They're pulling over into meadows, pavement, even going off-road, which is insane in a national park. You don't do that, knuckleheads. Environmental Resource Center says it was at least better than this, without any limits, the amount of vehicles, amount of people. It is overwhelmed. He believes the decision was good for business, but not good for the environment. Says you can't even take the shuttles anymore. They're so packed. Trails, including half-dome cables, are jammed. Congestion is constant. Park staff, environmental group says it's harming sensitive meadows, wildlife habitats. There's no daily cap on vehicles. The gates are open. You just come and go as you want, as many people as they can fit, and even more than that. Some park employees, over 300 of them at Yosemite, have signed a petition. Environmental groups, former staff criticized the decision, prioritizing crowds over the visitor experience. And you know, that's the thing. You go to Yosemite because, did you see our thumbnail? That's what you're looking at Yosemite. It is just packed full of people. And that's not exactly what you want to be staring at when you go to Yosemite. We need to go back to this absolute strict reservation system, because this ain't working at all.
The line of cars goes on and on and on, all waiting to get into Yosemite National Park.
People were waiting for like at least an hour and a half.
And once you're inside, the waiting isn't over.
By, I would say 7:30, the entire park, it was impossible to park. There's nowhere to park for anybody.
Waiting to find parking, waiting to get on the shuttle, waiting to see the sights.
A lot of shoulder to shoulder, a lot of chaos, a lot of angry people. a lot of oblivious people.
With many getting impatient and just illegally parking wherever they could.
People pulling onto meadows, pulling off pavement, going off-road. The lines to get even shuttles around the park, I mean, from the videos, were just horrendous.
It's the first summer where anyone can enter Yosemite, no reservation required. The change came after a comprehensive evaluation where Yosemite Superintendent Ray McPadden found the reservation system was not the most effective. John Buckley with the Central Sierra Environmental Resource Center says it was at least better than this.
Without any limits on the amount of vehicles, amount of people, it becomes overwhelmed.
He believes the decision was good for business, not for the environment.
The best accessibility is when there's managed park, conditions, so that the number of vehicles is balanced with the amount of parking.
Even those who didn't like the reservation system say they now see why it was needed.
There's just not enough capacity, like infrastructure and the employees to handle all of this traffic.
As we head into the busiest season for Yosemite, people say something needs to change.
These are the best protected places on the planet, and we cannot be managing them like an amusement park.
Exactly. I'm all one for getting the government out of our butts. Leave us alone. Let us do our thing. But man, this is absolute proof. Look at that. How would you like to be a part of this group? Climbing this trail. Ain't that nice? Not exactly the great outdoors you were thinking of, right? No, my friends. We need absolutely more regulation on this thing and bring back that reservation system. You may be making more money because you're getting more butts through your gate, but it is destroying everything we hold dear. Of all things, Yosemite. Man, you got to be kidding me. Danny, not even worth it, not enjoyable at that point. Exactly. I mean, what's the point? Don't go. If you had any plans, cancel. It's just, fighting to get a place to park, and then when you do, having to fight these kind of crowds. Absolutely go back to this reservation system. Too many people, and it ain't working. Shame, real shame. I'm not sure I want to blame the public, though. The Park Service did this. They were the ones to decide we're going to dump the reservation system. Open the gates, let anybody in, many as you want. And, if you do that, people are going to come. If you build it, they'll come. So I have a hard time, much as I would like to, blame the public, the people. But honestly, it ain't that. This is a system designed for failure. So bring it back. Bring it back. 10,000% rise in alpha-gal? What the hell is that? The FBI apparently has to figure out if there is any illegal bioterror-related activities resulting in this 10,000% increase in alpha-gal. Dr. Nicholas Hulsker, who's an epidemiologist, talks about how, here we go, Lone Star ticks are causing alpha-gal syndrome, which is the allergy to red meat, suggests a very serious investigation needs to be conducted. We are, again, yes, I'm talking about the ticks again, but I don't think you can talk too much about it.
Alpha-gal syndrome was something that was once extremely rare in this country. That is a fact, but it is becoming more and more common as more people develop an allergy to red meat after getting bitten by a Lone Star tick, which is the tick you see with the white dot on its back. And over the last several years, cases of alpha-gal syndrome have skyrocketed by almost 10,000%. And now, headline after headline, all asking the same question: how could a tick-borne illness suddenly be impacting so many people, not just people living in rural America, but in suburban America as well. And then we heard from Dr. Matthew Lau at the World Science Festival 10 years ago.
People eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would, it would actually really help the planet. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
Oh, okay. And then you start to connect the dots even more, and you find out that Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation spent millions of dollars funding genetically engineered ticks, and that Bill Gates is also a major investor in lab-grown meat, and now we've got almost 500,000 Americans living with a rare tick-borne illness that makes people allergic to meat, but not the lab-grown meat that Bill Gates has invested again. You think maybe this is not a coincidence after all?
And there's the big thing that makes you go, That slime ball and his garbage continues. You tell me there's no connection. Bullshit. You think Fauci was bad? And he was. 1,000%. But right there on an even level playing field with Fauci is this scumball, Bill Gates. And if he's not engineering this, I'll eat my shorts. How about the FBI? Can we get the FBI involved? This is a domestic thing, 100% domestic thing. Hey, Cash, how about it, Cashy baby? Somebody needs to look into this crap. It ain't good. For sure, it ain't good. We did solve one problem, though. And that would be adios, Al Green. Oh, man, I love this. You remember Al Green, right? There's the knucklehead right there with his little cane, screaming and yelling. If I'm not mistaken, this is probably one of the State of the Union addresses. Yesterday was a primary runoff day, a whole bunch of hot Texas races from the Senate. Incumbent John Cornyn against Trump-endorsed Attorney General Ken Paxton. The House race with Maureen Galindo, the Democrat who made all kinds of violent rants against the Zionists. Well, one of those hot races was the 18th District, which pitted Representative Christian Menefee, who'd won a seat in special election back in January against Representative Al Green, whose district had been redrawn and who decided to run in the much more comfortable blue 18th. Well, that didn't quite work out as Decision Desk decided to call it. U.S. House Democrat runoff projected winner Texas 18th. There he is. There is the new man. It wasn't even close, by the way. At last check, Menefee had 68.6%. Moron Green, 31.4%. Al Green has been in Congress, by the way, for a ridiculous 21 years. All that means, adios, Al Green. Have a nice life. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Morning, Marilyn. And now, he might have done better staying in the 9th, but he could scarcely have done much worse. Thanks for the added benefits of redistricting. Al is going to be out, while President Trump, whom Green kept rallying about and trying to impeach, he's staying right where he is, I'm afraid. Sorry, Al. I love it when a plan comes together. Goodbye, Al Green. We will absolutely not miss you, not even that much. Bye-bye. Oh, man. He is such, honestly, what an idiot. Good to see him gone. We need to do some more housekeeping. Ooh, Blackout Coffee, one of our great sponsors here on the show. And man, that is good stuff. John Santos and the gang over at Blackout Coffee, an American company that supports our troops, uses local co-ops and American farmers to grow their beans. Just simply the best coffee on the planet. Oh yeah, Blackout Coffee. They only roast your beans after you place your order, and then they ship them out within 24 to 48 hours, which means they are fresh roasted right at your doorstep. If you can't get whole beans because you don't have any way to grind them, they offer most of their favorite roasts in ground varieties. So, yep, you just pull down the tab and you pick ground, and they will grind them for you. Flavored coffees, coffee pods, cold brew, all kinds of flavors that are absolutely delicious. Coffee subscriptions, which is a brilliant idea. All you need to do to get started, pull down our description, look at our description down there, and you'll see that one of the top links is for Blackout Coffee. Use that link, head over to Blackout, and use the code J20, Jay20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. In addition to that, they've always got specials going on, 20, 25, 30% off all their different great flavors and roasts. Check them out, Blackout Coffee, and thank you, John Santos and the gang, for helping to sponsor the show. Blackout Coffee, we love you guys. Yes, we do, and not just because you're a sponsor, because you make the best coffee on the earth. Absolutely, hands down. Rich, full-bodied, never bitter. All right. The rebellion in Virginia has officially begun. Wait. I have a bit of a cold going on that I'm fighting, so bear with me, okay? I'm going to be doing that a little bit. If you think the 250th anniversary of the founding of this country is a fine time for conservative areas of blue and purple states to finally make some sort of stand against tyranny, well, guess what? You're not alone. Turns out, several top law enforcement officials in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we've been reporting on this for weeks now, what a mess, violating our constitutional rights, not even batting an eye. And where else is there more appropriate a setting for a little rebellion than in the good old Commonwealth of Virginia? They are refusing to enforce Democrat Governor Abigail Spanberger's most controversial new law. One official, Commonwealth Attorney Ryan McAfee from Spotsylvania County, what a great name, alerted the county sheriff that assault weapons ban was going into effect on July 1st and that it is, quote, unconstitutional and cannot be lawfully enforced. Furthermore, he said, historical tradition and case law precedent requires Virginians to arm themselves for common defense. Mahaffrey explained his position. He said, the Second Amendment is not just an assurance of personal freedoms, but also a safeguard for the community's ability to defend itself through a well-regulated militia. Sound familiar? Our founders were very careful to make sure that when they drafted our founding document, the ultimate right of the people was preserved to defend themselves and defend their community. So the linchpin of the Constitution analysis is going to be, does this instrument have some reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia. Well, turns out Mahaffey is not alone in standing up to the law-abiding citizens of Virginia. There is a huge, growing chorus of Commonwealth attorneys, sheriffs, who are shouting from the rooftops that they too will not enforce this new law, which, among other things, bans Virginians from buying, selling, or transferring AR-15s. Those awful, scary, we really can't define them, assault weapons. In addition, Attorneys Smith and Powhatan counties previously stated they will also be standing strong in defense of the Second Amendment. Pulaski County Commonwealth Attorney Justin Griffin said last night, enforcement of criminal law is at the discretion of the Commonwealth's attorney of each locality. He said, I'm not going to take law-abiding citizens as of June 30th, 2026, and criminalize that same behavior on July 1st, 2026, solely on the basis of a new law. Good on you. Finally, people are standing up to this lefty bullshit. Several sheriffs also joining the rebellion, having warned Spanberger and Virginia Democrats months ago that they were going too far with this gun ban. Amherst County Sheriff Jimmy Ayers said of the new law, the citizens of Amherst County have a right to bear arms as long as they're qualified individuals to do so. Campbell County Sheriff Whit Clark said, I believe this is an infringement on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding, gun-owning citizens, and it is nothing more than a gun grab. Now, in a hilarious and utterly predictable move, Virginia Democrats are now clutching their pearls over the thought of prosecutors actually upholding the U.S. Constitution. Oh, can you imagine? These same people haven't uttered a damn peep about Steve Descano, Commonwealth Attorney in Fairfax, who repeatedly releases violent illegals back into the community. Not a word. Apparently picking and choosing, that's reserved for Democrats. Nonetheless, Sheriff Clark remains absolutely steadfast. He said, I laid my hand on the Bible 3 times and swore to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States, and I intend to do that. Go for it, Sheriff Clark. Patrick Henry would be proud. Go ahead, Virginia. You lefty Democrat morons. You want to screw around with the Constitution? It ain't going to work. We will fight you every step of the way. Speaking of fights, JFK Jr. went beast mode and had a bit of a fight with some snakes on Dr. Oz's patio. Oh, I love this guy. I think it would be pretty fair to say that Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has had, if nothing else, a very interesting life. He was a former Democrat, a family of long Democrats and very colorful history, has a unique addition to the Trump cabinet, adding because of his passion for improving people's health, his contingent of Make America Healthy Again supporters. This man is 72 years old. I'll be lucky if I make it to 72. Not kidding. He appears to be a walking testimonial to being in good physical health, that's for damn sure. Having led a much wilder life when he was young, he has been a big advocate for kids' physical health, kids' mental health, made him a champion to a lot of moms. And apparently, in addition to everything else, all the good stuff about RFK Jr., he's pretty fearless when it comes to dealing with wildlife. He posted about being with his wife, Cheryl Hines, at the home of the Administrator for Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, who is Dr. Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz. And then he went over to deal with a couple of unexpected guests who showed up on the patio. This is RFK Jr., and those are a couple of snakes. Watch.
Hi.
What are they? Well, they were having sex, so what were they?
Moccasins. Moccasins? Who's a Patriot?
No, they're not moccasins.
Huh?
They're not moccasins.
Oh. Okay.
Are they biting?
Yeah. Honey, let it go. Oh my God.
Jesus, the mouths are huge.
Please. Bobby, please. Oh God.
Dang, Doc. Are you nuts? No, thank you. They were a pair of black racers who were apparently at the moment of doing the nasty dance. Oh, I think he was teasing because obviously his wife wasn't exactly cheerleading. Indeed, she was pretty worried, if you could hear her there. Kept insisting he let them go, especially after one of them appeared to bite him in the hand. Honey, let them go, Hines said, concerned as any wife might be. Kennedy joked about the snakes being moccasins, which are dangerous. We used to have those where I lived. They're very dangerous. And said they're not moccasins. He identified them as black racers, which are very common in the South. They are absolutely not venomous. They can bite, as you can see. They bit him. But even though a snake can bite, and it'll hurt, but it's not venomous. That's the important part. Kennedy spent a lot of time with wildlife when he was younger. And apparently he's got some sort of natural affinity for that. In fact, he also, this was reported a while ago, he caught and relocated a rattlesnake. Now, those are dangerous. He found it in his driveway in July of 2024, posted a video about it. Man, I'm telling you, this guy is insane. Wow. Danny, again, I saw another video. He picked one up and bagged it. His wife was freaking out a lot. Just handling the wild snakes. Yeah, I love this guy. He just does what needs to be done. And ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. Hey, another one of our great companies that sponsors this show are the good folks at Patriot Mobile. Do you know where your money goes every month when you pay your mobile bill? I bet you don't. You can.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Oh yeah, Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider for your cell phone. Just go to patriotmobile.com/J. The link is in our description. Pull that down, expand it. You'll see it there for Patriot Mobile. Get signed up. Get an incredible deal when you use our link, and know that your money is going to a company that believes in exactly the same values you and I believe in. patriotmobile.com/J. Thank you, Patriot Mobile, for all that you do. Really do appreciate that. All right, Messrs. Thomas and Monsieur Alito have absolutely blasted the Supreme Court of the United States of America for ducking the case on illegal alien truck drivers who, as you know, have done nothing but cause fatal accidents on America's highways. The court declines to even hear Florida's claims, even though it has nowhere else to bring them, Justice Thomas wrote. Thomas and Sam Alito blasted their Supreme Court colleagues Tuesday for ducking a pivotal interstate dispute over issuing commercial driver's licenses, CDLs, to illegal aliens who cannot even speak or read English. These are these knuckleheads who should never have had a CDL, who should never be behind the wheel of a truck. You see the videos all the time, going the wrong way on the highways. This verbal smackdown came after the High Court's most recent order list. The justices disclosed what cases they will take up and hear arguments in during the 2026 term. And among the rejected cases was Florida versus California and Washington. Florida sought to file a lawsuit against California and Washington for defying federal law by providing commercial driving licenses to illegal aliens who cannot read English. In its October 2025 filing, Florida Attorney General James Uthmire asked the High Court to greenlight and consider his state's legal complaint against Democrat-run states over the contested policy. He said Florida's serious and dignified claims arise under the U.S. Constitution, and there is no alternative forum to provide adequate relief. Article 3 of the Constitution notably grants the Supreme Court original jurisdiction in all cases in which a state shall be a party. And yet, 7 of the current court's justices declined to take up and address the matter. Meanwhile, families are getting killed on our highways by these scum. Writing in dissent on behalf of himself and Alito, Clarence Thomas blasted the High Court for shirking its responsibility, its constitutional responsibility, to handle disputes between the states. He highlighted the disturbing phenomenon alleged by Florida that the practice of states issuing CDLs to illegals who are not proficient in English, hell, not proficient, how about zero read or write or understand or speak? And it is causing fatal accidents on our roads. And yet, the Supreme Court, the only place to go to settle this issue, said, nah, we're not interested. Good old Mr. Thomas, Mr. Alito, your honors, we honor you. It's just too bad your colleagues don't sadly feel the same. That is ridiculous. Yale Medical School is illegally discriminating, by its own admission, against white and Asian applicants. Ain't that nice? Race simply cannot be used as a criteria for admission decisions, no matter how high an applicant's scores are. Yale celebrating its 325th commencement last week. Institution's medical school is facing new scrutiny for racial discrimination in admissions. The DOJ sent a letter to Yale Medical School May 14th, notifying it the department finds that Yale continues to intentionally discriminate against applicants based on their race. This letter presents evidence that Black and Hispanic students were significantly more likely to be admitted than white and Asian students with the same MCAT scores and grade point averages, an outcome that cannot be explained as, oh, it's just a coincidence. No, it's not. Specifically, Yale's use of race results in a Black applicant, listen to this, being as much as 29 times higher odds of getting an interview for admission than an equally strong Asian applicant with similar academic credentials. How about that? The finding by the department that Yale Medical School continues to racially discriminate in its admissions, greeted by criticisms that seem to kind of misunderstand what constitutes discrimination based on race. A radiologist named Jeff Anderson responded on X that all groups of students who were admitted to Yale Medical School had very high standardized scores. Quote, "Every last one of these are overly qualified, I assure you. They're just simply not enough seats," end quote. The implicit argument is that one applicant may have met a certain threshold on their scores. Race can be used as a tiebreaker to allocate the number of spots. No, it cannot. As far as the law is concerned, good enough ain't good enough. Race simply cannot be used in any criterion in admission decisions, no matter how high the applicant's scores are. Yale Medical School not obligated to accept the student with the highest test scores. They're free to consider other factors, but not race or ethnicity. Race and ethnicity are not among the factors you can consider. Full stop, period, end of discussion. Neither the Supreme Court nor the Department of Justice is suggesting these test scores are the only indication of merit. But they are both clearly stating that the racial background of the applicant is not a lawful consideration for admission. And yet Yale continues to bury its head in the sand and ignore it. Well, hopefully this is going to come up and bite you hard right in the ass. Yale asserting its admission demographics would change if the school ceased considering race. And yet, its admission demographics have pretty much remained unchanged. Ongoing noncompliance with civil rights laws, forbidding any form of racial discrimination, and that includes white folks and Asian folks. Yale. They don't care. They're Yale. They don't have to care. You're going to care when the DOJ gets on your butt. Then you're going to care. Okay? Then you're going to care big time. Because people are sick of you liberal weirdos. And the proof is in the pudding. Believe it or not, even the big blue towns are getting absolutely sick and tired of this Democratic freak show. And yeah, that picture on your screen is exactly what I'm talking about, among many others. Bear with me here, okay? Albert Einstein wrote in a letter to his son back in the 1950s about American politics. He said, "There's something amazing about America's democracy. It's got a gyroscope. And just when you think it's going to go off the cliff, it rights itself again." And some 70 years after Einstein wrote that to his son, that gyroscope once again is at work. The communists who cosplay as Democrats continue to push woke codswalloping down the throats of any Americans still too stupid to recognize cultural Marxism. Even as a bearded lady showers next to their tween daughter. A lot of Americans living on the West Coast, including those who hopscotch to work through hypodermic needles and human feces, the Democratic street kebabs, they're starting to realize the Democrats really are communists, and communism kind of sucks. Bernie Sanders, what a brilliant example of all of that crap. Hard to figure out exactly how much money Bolshevik Bernie's family's NGOs hovered up. Even Google AI disagrees with itself on how much cabbage Bernie Sanders swiped through his family's NGOs. Woke folks is dying about as fast as Mr. Orange and Reservoir Dogs. I just rewatched that movie the other day. It was great. The writing is on the wall, and the final thrusts of the Pugios are coming from the people, exactly the same people who put those Democrats in charge. Good. After a couple of years of complaints, the YMCA in San Francisco recently rewrote their rules regarding men walking around naked in front of women and girls in the locker room, largely because a Decepticon calling himself Sammy. Apparently, Sammy was spending too much time wandering nude in the locker room, allegedly for hours a day, 6 days a week, forcing men, women, and girls to eyeball his lady crank, whether or not they wanted to. There it was for all the world to see. This new rule, the new rules demand nudity be discreet, limited, and brief. Sammy didn't like the new rules, and so for 2 weeks, he hasn't been seen. Oh. The big picture here is this. A trans person in San Francisco, a city that holds no fewer than 6 LBGTFBI festivals per year, finally stood up to this trans insanity. In San Francisco, in Seattle, some residents in a neighborhood inundated with prostitution, human trafficking, shootings. We told you this story yesterday. They've taken matters into their own hands. Stray bullets fly nightly. Pimps, gangsters slug it out. 40 shell casings found after one particular night of debauchery. And they have finally set up roadblocks so these thugs can't get into their community. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Oh, what a pillar of society. She is likely filling her as Spencer Spratt saw an explosion of political donations during the last reporting period. The Pratt campaign took in $2.7 million in donations, almost meeting Bass's cash haul, $2.8 million, same time frame. Pratt had 8,490 donors who sent him mad cheddar, 328 of whom contributed the maximum of 1,800. Unlike Bass, Pratt doesn't have the full backing of a political party throwing bales of cash at him. With a non-Democrat ranking in so much lettuce, you can only surmise that Californians, although they may not mention it at the water cooler, may have finally had enough of Bass's Bolshevik bullshit. Did I say Bolshevik? Yeah, I did. And here's why. Can we play that cut? Yes, we can. Here you go.
You know, you're known as a reality TV star. Do you think that that is, in your campaign for Los Angeles mayor to run the biggest city in California, is that a label that you embrace? Is that hurtful to your campaign, or does it help, you think?
I mean, the reality, pun intended, is that was from 20 years ago. And if we look at what Karen Bass was doing 20 years ago, she was in Cuba learning how to make bombs with the people that would then go bomb Capitol Hill. So if we're looking at backgrounds, I'm pretty proud of what I was doing at 20 on reality television, even though it was, I may not have been the most likable character, it was still TV versus trying to destroy America and going to Cuba 20 times and praising Fidel Castro. So against my opponent, my background's pretty strong.
Love this guy. Oh, man. Speaking of nudes, says Marilyn, there must be an epidemic in Connecticut as Connecticut Police Live Facebook. They keep posting almost daily of men and women on highways, on streets, in stores, everywhere, naked. It's insane. Yeah. Well, I know you can't, but honestly, the only answer to that, my dear, is move. Get out of Connecticut. I know your situation, but sadly, there ain't nothing you're going to do because Connecticut's been overrun by commie Democrat leftists, and they are always going to have control, and nothing ever, ever, ever is going to change, and that's the reality of it. Yeah. Too bad, but that's exactly the case. All right. Where do you get your news besides the Jay Sheldon Show? And by the way, don't make me your only avenue for news. I'm not. I don't even, did I talk about the Iran-Iraq situation today and President Trump? No. And there's a lot of crap going on about it. But because it's on every other news portal on earth, I don't think I need to include it in the show. You can find that anywhere. So I brought you stuff that, has some national implications, but it's not the stuff that's going to be the leading headline on a lot of different news sites. If you want a place to find out where to get your news from, sources from people who actually know what they're talking about, and you know what? I don't care if you're a lefty-leaning liberal goofball over here, or if you're an absolute conservative Christian right-leaning over there. It doesn't matter. Ground news, which I use extensively for research on this program, every single day, ground news really is the best place for you to find out who is covering the news and how they're covering it.
The news is divided. Ground news puts it back together, so you can see how many sources are reporting on any breaking story, where they fall on the political spectrum, how reliable they are, and who owns them. Compare headlines and read full articles to see which details are prioritized, exaggerated, or left out entirely. because the more we understand the media, the more we'll understand each other. Visit ground.news to learn more.
Oh, yeah. Ground.news. Use the link in our description down below. Just pull that down. You'll see a link for Ground News. You get 40% off your subscription. You can use the site for free. It's a little limited, but it's still great. But if you want, it's just very cheap. It doesn't amount to much of any out of your budget every month. And you will get full access to all their amazing outlets and where you get your news from, how it works, whether they're left-leaning, right-leaning, whatever it might be. Ground News is the place to check it out, and use our link to get a discount on your subscription. All right. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. I promised you the Red Revolution was going to be taking over New York, and you're about to get it good and hard. Mamdani says he is going to oust landlords and give the property to non-profits. No, Marilyn, not that on Facebook. Use the link in our description down below. There's a link there for Ground News. Mayor Zohran Mamdani from New York has now confirmed his plans to seize private property and redistribute it to radical organizations that are in his imperial favor. What could possibly go wrong? Using what can only be described as truly Orwellian doublespeak, Mamdani announced to a cheering crowd of entitled ingrates, through our new citywide campaign, Fix the City, we will focus on the worst landlords in New York City. When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. That includes community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves. No mention of the fact that the Democrat government is the worst landlord. Dems have been wrecking affordability in New York City, and naturally, it all depends on exactly how he defines negligent. The beginning of bankruptcy for New York City. A lot of the homes he wants to take back, block by block, cannot charge enough rent to pay property taxes and keep the property maintained because of rent control. When these new owners take control, they will pay 0 property taxes. Listen to this idiot.
When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
And look at the little zombie people behind him who have no idea of the absolute hell on earth this idiot is about to unleash. You voted for him, so enjoy yourselves, New York. Enjoy yourselves. Insane. And finally, You know Bruce Lee. You should know Bruce Lee. The spirit of Bruce Lee, does it have something to offer to people who are not martial artists? Bruce Lee, of course, famous for introducing and popularizing Chinese martial arts in the West, much to the chagrin of traditionalists, I might add. But in understanding Bruce Lee's philosophy, it would be helpful to understand some of the Chinese words that he very often used, like the Hebrew and Greek of the Bible. They have superficial, and then they have very deeper meaning. Wu, W-U, Wu. The character represents martial skill, whether it's personal, military. It's a combination of the character Gua, which is a symbol for a spear, and Gi, which is literally a foot being put down, as if to control or to stop something. A lot like our red circle with a line through it. The idea is violence, but controlled, focused, properly harnessed. This is why martial artists will sometimes salute each other with a fist covered by the opposite palm. Same meaning. Wu Wei means doing without intention. It's very much related to the Japanese Zen term mushin, or no mind, empty mind. Think of it this way. As Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman who ever lived, would tell you, if you are in a duel and you have to think, if he slices to my left, I will block and parry with an upward thrust, you're already dead. Jeet Kune Do translates to the way of intercepting the fist. It's the style Bruce invented for himself, not intended to be mimicked the way you would in a traditional martial art. The principles were no fixed style, no economy of motions, formlessness, fluidity. An example taken from the name, a block or a parry can also have a strike in the same motion. Bruce very famously said, I know you've heard this before, but it's true, be like water, making its way through cracks. Don't be assertive, adjust to the object, and you will find a way around it or through it. If nothing within you stays rigid, outward things will disclose themselves. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. Be like water, my friend. Those are the words of Bruce Lee. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Very famous saying with the U.S. Marines. That is not accomplished by following Bruce's path or anyone else's, really. You take the path of self-discovery, adapt what's useful, reject what is useless, and add what specifically is your own. That's what Bruce taught. He stressed on focus. He could put a fist an inch away from your chest and send you flying across the room. Much less impressive example, breaking boards. You ever try and do that? Not as easy as it seems unless it's balsa wood. But the things that Bruce had to say can benefit really everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a martial artist or not. We should learn them, and we should follow them. Hey, folks, we're done. We finished an hour and enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Please do follow, subscribe. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Rumble. And you can hear our audio podcast. That's the audio part of our show on Apple iTunes, Spotify, all the podcast platforms. We are there. We'll be back again tomorrow for the Thursday edition. Enjoy the rest of your hump day.